What's up, y'all? Today I'm going to show you how to get rid of orange peel. So if you have a new modern booth or you're painting with something else, you might not have this issue, but we have a really old booth. It's not the cleanest. We're working with our setup, but this will happen, especially with a booth like ours where it's real cold and conditions just aren't right. But what we're going to do is we're going to sand all that out. Now, one thing that you're going to see big time after I do this step right here is all these little dirt nibs. We're just going to go over it with 1500 grit and a DA to expose all those dirt nibs so we can take care of those first. You want to be real careful on these edges right here, because if you roll over that edge right there where it's going in that direction, it'll put a bunch of pressure and it'll rip that paint right off that corner. And you'll notice too when I'm doing this, I can tell right here there's still a bunch of orange peel. Over here where it's all nice and smooth, the orange peel is gone. So when I wipe this down, you're gonna see all them little dots.
Just like that, it's done fucking raining.
So, as you can tell, there's quite a few dirt nibs. We're gonna take a hand block, 1500 grit, just flatten them out. You don't want to dig real hard or push too hard because you can go through, it's less likely, but you'll also make these real deep scratch marks that'll come out when you're in your buff step. But you're going to go do that to all of them. Some of the bigger ones like this, you're going to want to be a little more careful but aggressive at the same time. It's going to take a little bit longer to get it out. Might have to switch your paper around. And sometimes you just kind of have to know when to give up with them. You don't want to be too aggressive and end up going through the paint. You don't want to dig it up beyond repair. So right about there, I'm going to call that one good. And now that all those nibs are taken care of, we're going to go around and try to get a look just like this. You don't want to see that rippliness. You want it to be nice and uniform just like that. When that right there starts happening, those are pigtails, you got to clean your pad. Just take a rag and wipe all that stuff right off. This will help a couple times, but eventually you're just going to have to change to a new piece of paper. And you can see we're mostly there, but we still got spots like that to take care of, and right there. All right, I'm gonna do the rest of the hood and I'll get back with you. So as you can see, we got it pretty good looking. As you can see, I'm not chasing perfection either. I left that. Some of this stuff right here, the grill's gonna go, so we don't have to touch that. This is just a little bit too aggressive of an angle. It's really easy to dig right in here. Some of the edges I didn't roll over, and on the sides I was pretty light. But on the next step, we're gonna hit it with some 2000 grit on the DA. This step's a little bit different because you're not really chasing anything or going for any certain look. You're kind of doing more of a process. This is going to cut out all the scratches from the 1500 grit. So, like I said, just kind of go nice and slow, go this way, do the whole thing in one way, and then do crosshatch. Make sure you get every inch because you just want to make sure that you're cutting out all of those 1500 grit scratches. Make sure you get your edges too. Try not to... If you see dust starting to pile up, watch what you're doing because that means you're hitting an edge. It's rolling into that edge and it's peeling off all that dust, so be careful with that. Now before we do our next step, I'm going to take some glass cleaner, I'm going to spray it all over the hood, I'm going to wipe everything down, and I'm going to look at it and make sure I'm happy with it before I move on to the wet sanding stage. Dry side. Some air to dry it up faster. So overall it looks pretty good. We'll still have a tiny bit of that orange peel, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. In here you can tell there's a bit more because it's kind of in like a weird valley right here and it's a little more awkward to kind of angle your sander and stuff. This is nice and flat. I would put this in the looks good for my house category. Now we'll move on to the wet 3000 grit. These 3M pads are the one that I like. This is 3000 grit, like I said. We'll just rinse this off as I put it on. And when I say rinse it, I mean rinse it. You hammer right on there, make sure all that white stuff's out. It's just sanding dust. Spraying all the shit on my cart, but that's okay. That looks good. And then with your hood, you don't really have to soak it, just kind of mist it. I'm gonna lubed up a little bit. We'll do that middle section first. As you can see for the edges, I'm kind of leaning the pad a little bit. By the way, we're doing the same crosshatch pattern. We'll do our horizontal runs and then we'll do our vertical runs. So this is looking okay, but you can see there's some spots like right there where it's real hazy. We're gonna hit that more. That's much better. There's still some lines, but that's okay. We'll get rid of that with the buffer. Okay, so you want it to look something like that. You want to be able to see your reflections again. Obviously up here there's no reflection, down here there is. This is good. And then when you're done with this 3000 wet, make sure you don't have any spots that look like that like rippliness. That means you didn't cut. A buffer will not take that out. Well, I had a brain fart and fucked up. At some point I put the 5000 grit on there, so we're gonna put the 3000 back on, go over the hood again, and then go over it with 5000, and I'll get back to you. All right, we have our 3000 step done. Everything looks pretty uniform. You can see reflections, as I should say. And this next step seems to be controversial in itself. Not that it's a bad thing, but a lot of people say it's a waste of time. In their process, it might be. All detailers and body shop guys, they're gonna have a different process that requires different steps. And in my step, I've tried to go without 5000. It just doesn't seem to pop as much. It seems to not shine the same way. Could just be a placebo effect, I don't know, but I always finish up before doing a cut and polish with 5000 on a DA. Now this is similar to the 2000 step earlier. We're not going to be chasing anything and looking for drastic differences. You're just going to do a step. You know, when you're sanding, you should be going nice and slow. Hopefully you can hear me over the sander. But do your rows like this, and then do your crosshatch pattern. This is just going to ensure that you hit every inch and you make sure you get all the scratches from the 3000. I'm going to do this up with the 5 real quick and I'll get back with you. And here you should be able to see the difference between the 3 and the 5. This is the 3000 and over here is the 5000. You'll see it get darker, a little bit harder to see through right about there. It's 3000, 5000. So the 5000's all done. It's ready for cut and polish. I'll show you what I'm going to use for that. This is a Rupees LHR 21. It spins, but it also oscillates. This will cut a little bit finer than a rotary, cuts slower, looks pretty good. It's a Lake Country blue cutting pad. And then we got our Lake Country finishing pad. Those are my compound and polish. The polish is the Americana Global Fine Cut. And the heavy cut, Americana Elite Series. So if you're wet sanding and buffing, I'm going to go ahead and just assume that you know how to at least do some light paint correction, because that's all we're really doing here. We've done enough steps with we did dry 15 and 2 and we did wet 3 and 5, so you shouldn't really have to cut too hard with your polisher. But we'll just do a small spot as an example. I run this wide open because I cut pretty slow. Now obviously don't do that one-handed like I did. I'm only doing it because I'm filming. Bad idea overall, but I've been doing this a while. I'm okay. You can see that there are no pigtails, no scratch marks. Looks like this is going to come out pretty good. I'll finish this up and I'll come back to you guys. Time for the reveal. Let's get a low wipe down and see what it looks like. Oh yeah, that's looking pretty. All right, as you can see, this is looking much better. I don't know if I'd put it at show car quality, but it's obviously pretty dang good, guys. Turn the flash on so you can see. Beautiful. Now I'll put a screenshot, a comparison up on the screen so you guys can see what the orange peel was like before versus now. Now this isn't something that I would put a beginner on. Removing orange peel it's not super hard, but there's a lot of technique involved that, you know, technique doesn't make you a special person, it's more experience. I've been doing this for a while. I kind of know when to stop. When I'm hitting my edges, I know like, okay, this is happening, so that means I need to back off, or it looks like this, so that means I need to hit it more. Don't just dive right into this. Watch way more videos. Watch other detailers and body shop guys. You might like their process more. That's fine. You know, there's a million detailers out there. They're all gonna have a different process, but it's a pretty basic how-to, dirt nibs and orange peel. Let me know how you like the video.